Hey everybody, my name is Jim Farmer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ film festival. This is our 35th anniversary festival, and we've had some amazing programming. So thank you all for coming out and watching our films. One of our favorite programs is always the Homegrown Shorts program, and we have one of the filmmakers here today, Marlee Archer, whose some capacity was part of the Homegrown Shorts last Thursday and is now streaming online. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, just tell us, a little bit more about your film and getting it made. I know that you made this film. It was part of a 48-hour project.
Yes, so it was a part of a 48-hour film challenge.
Yeah.
Um from, ideation to shooting, um to production and completion.
Yeah.
We had 48 hours to complete. So it was a pretty wild ride. It definitely brought out um a lot of strengths that the film crew and I really didn't realize that we had. So it pushed us to really use our creativity and make something that we just never would have imagined we could create in 2 days.
Is this the first time you had done something within this boundaries, a 48-hour project?
Yes, this was my very first 48-hour film challenge, and actually it was my first official short film
Oh,
uh,
wow.
that I'd ever made. So
Welcome to shorts in 48 hours.
right, I had created a feature length documentary and finished that earlier in 2021, but had been working on it since 2016. But this was the first short film I had ever created. So
Oh, wow.
really getting familiar with that format in 2 days was quite the experience.
I can imagine. How did you come up with the idea for capacity?
So we were given a few prompts and things that we were encouraged to utilize for the
Mhm.
for the theme.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, I think that it's a representation of where I was, as well as the other women who helped to write this film.
Hmm.
It was right at the end of 2020. We were, knee deep in the pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of racial injustices happening,
Mhm.
and really in a space as women of color, just understanding and realizing how important our mental health is, and how these different factors were impacting our spiritual and emotional health. So um, we just kind of thought, let's create a film that is a reflection of where we feel like we all are in this moment in time. Um, Something that can, be a representation of um, where we feel like Black women are, what we're dealing with as intersectional um, queer women.
Hmm.
Uh, so that was a part of how we came up with the idea for capacity.
Great. I think we have another filmmaker who's joined us. We have Tanika Huff from The Drawer.
Hello. So sorry to be off camera.
That's
I'm
okay.
running in from a shoot right now, but I
Okay.
didn't want to miss this. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. So yeah,
Marlee, I loved Capacity, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. I loved your
The
film
camera
as
angle is
well.
so cool.
there was
Thank
there was
you.
a there was a in-person screening for Homegrown Shorts on Thursday of this week, the 29th, and it was a tremendous screening. Great crowd, and the people love the films, and it was just a great night. But Tanika, just tell us a little bit about how the drawer came together and just putting it together and the concept.
Sure. So in late 2020, a couple friends of mine, Tiffany Cumbry and Michael Nash,
Yeah,
and I got together and decided that we wanted to make something after a long, long year of
exactly.
not making anything. And the three of us each wrote a film that we wanted to create, and mine was The Drawer. It actually is based on a very real drawer that a friend of mine may have told me about and from
Mhm.
his own life. And I wanted to play with how those stories can come together and affect a person, affect their life
Yeah,
slowly over time, and how relationships come in and out of our lives. But ultimately, and I hope this message got across, but ultimately, friendships some of them are meant to last if you cherish them and you nurture them.
That's great.
So,
What
yeah.
is it? I mean, obviously, the last couple of years we've had to deal with COVID, and so many screenings have been delayed or stalled. And we're just now getting back to in-person events. But for both of you, what was it like, seeing your film, what's it like seeing your project on the big screen and having an audience there to really engage with them? We'll start with you, Marlee.
It was interesting. That was the second time that, a project of mine had been previewed on a big screen. So it's a little nerve-wracking to see people consuming your art and really, I kind of think about, film projects as like a baby, you're letting your baby out into the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and just feeling the emotion and the reaction that other people have to what you've created. It's a beautiful thing, really, and it's an honor. So it was definitely a great experience.
Oh, nice. Tanika?
I agree, such an honor. And it's funny you should use the baby metaphor, because sitting in the theater, I was watching that wonderful, gorgeous film about the pregnancy and the trip to space that did not turn out well. And it was such an emotional experience. And I literally turned to a friend right next to me and said, "Whew, good thing my film doesn't have to go right after that." And then, of course, my film went right after that. It was nerve-wracking for sure. I was feeling all of those things you just described. And I don't know, but in the end, it was such a joy, such a gift to hear live audience reactions. It had only screened privately prior to that. And it was never hearing people see what I intended and then hearing what they get from it. And little did I know, I've been writing comedies without meaning to. So maybe I'll lean into that for my next project.
That's great. Can both of you, I just want to ask you one more question. What's it like being part of the Atlanta filmmaking community now? And there's so many great filmmakers, so many queer artists who are making. What's it like being part of that community? I'll start with you, Tanika.
I think it's really rewarding being a part of the community and actually contributing to it now versus only spectating, which it was my previous MO. It's so nice to have so many filmmakers who are willing to, sign on for a passion project. And you go up to anyone and say, "Yeah, I'm doing this thing. This is what I'm looking for. I just want to get it made." We're all just pitching in, and everyone seems so willing to give themselves and their time and their expertise, even if it's just 5 minutes of picking apart an idea. And I love that. I just want to see it grow even more.
Oh, that's great. Marlee?
Yeah, I can definitely agree. It's to see what collaboration can do when you're kind of on an individual path and just coming up with your own ideas. You may not be able to pull as much from a project as if you were able to collaborate with others. And there's such talent and unique perspective from the creatives here in Atlanta. And also the amount of support has been really astounding and rewarding as well. Specifically being a part of this film festival. I mean, just the way that you all have, really encompassed and supported and, promoted our films has really been a really wonderful experience. So yes, being a part of the specific Atlanta film community has been great.
It's been our honor. Thank you both for sharing your films with us. Again, the audience loved them. Last Thursday, the scores have been very, very high. Homegrown Shorts is now streaming online as part of Out on Film through next Sunday. So if you have not seen these yet, shame on you. You can watch the entire program online. Marlee, Tanika, thanks for sharing the drawer and capacity with us. And we look forward to working with you again in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you both. Thank you both.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much.
Bye.